In New York City, we have over 900,000 buildings. It can be very confusing to decide what kind of apartment or building makes sense for you. I get asked the question quite often, what the heck is the difference between a co-op and a condo? Well, in this video, I hope to show that to you. Did you know in New York City, out of all the residential units that you can live in, 70% of those are rental units and only 30% of those are for sale. Of the for sale units, 70% of those are co-ops and 30% of those are condos. Condos are a relatively new concept in New York City, started in the 1980s. They tend to have all the bells and whistles, amenities, indoor pool, rooftop. Co-ops tend to be pre-war buildings, less amenities, but they are the quintessential lifestyle that you think of when you think of New York City. So depending on what type of style you like, they are very different in terms of the kind of lifestyle that you can live. So there are lots of types of homes you can buy in New York City. And to make things a lot simpler for you, I thought I would give you two examples of very typical types of buyers in New York City. Jack over here is a foreign investor. He doesn't plan on living in New York City. He wants to buy the property and rent it out. Whereas Jill, right here, is someone that lives and works in New York City and is looking to buy a primary home and use it as a full-time residence. Let's take this as an example. This is a condo unit. You actually own everything inside the walls of this unit. You pay what's called common charges, which helps to pay the operations of the building, and you separately pay on a monthly basis your property taxes. You do get a deed to the space, so you do own the apartment. We're actually in the living room of apartment 22B at the Visionaire. And this is a condo unit, which means that the owner owns everything within the walls of this unit, but not in the building. To take a tour of this property, click on the link at the end of this video. So what's the difference between that and a co-op? So let's say this is a co-op unit. You don't actually own anything inside the wall of this unit, but you own shares in the building. The building is considered a co-op or corporation, and you own percentage of shares compared to the size of your unit. You pay what's called a monthly maintenance. The maintenance covers the operations of the building, possibly an underlying mortgage, and the property taxes. You do not get a deed, but you get a share as a shareholder in the building. So it depends what your situation is. It's not just buying the property, but what kind of property works for you. Jack is a foreign investor, but it can also be a primary homeowner, investor, or a foreigner. In this situation, you can buy, rent, or sell with little to no restrictions. There is a board approval process, but it's more of a formality, and it's not really a requirement that's going to stop you from doing what you want to do with the property. Jill, on the other hand, is a totally different situation. Jill mostly has to be a primary home owner looking to live in it as a full-time residency. There are very strict rental policies where they may not allow you to rent the property at all. And there is going to be a board approval process when you want to buy, sell, and rent, and the building's board can deny it for whatever reason they want. In a condo, you can buy it in all cash if you want to, but if you want to get financing, you can borrow up to 90% of the purchase price of the property. In a co-op, the buildings will be different in terms of their requirements from building to building, and at a minimum, they will require you to put at least 20% as a down payment, up to 50% as a down payment off the purchase price. In a co-op, they will also require you to have post-liquid assets up to 24 months off the carrying costs, and that can be cash in the bank, that can be assets that can be easily converted into cash, and that's a requirement by the building's board. Because of these reasons, co-ops generally are 30% priced lower than condos. So depending on your situation, it's important to speak to your agent and see which type of property applies to you. Whether you're a primary homeowner, you're an investor, or a foreigner, these two different types of asset classes will appeal to you. If you have any questions about this or any other topics related to New York City living, please put your comments below and I'll be sure to respond to you.